Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins of DailyAlchemy.com, and today I want to ask you a question. Are your ancestors keeping you broke? That seems like kind of crazy question, right? Because what can some people who passed on, many of them a long time ago, do to keep you broke? Well, it can be because of stories and vibrations from the past. Sometimes we pass things down in our family tree that we don't always want to pass down. Sometimes we pass down great, fabulous beliefs too. So it goes both ways, but you may want to explore and think about your family history and if it can be affecting you now. If you have, the closest starting point is your parents, but your parents got a lot of their stories from their family and their parents and aunts and uncle, and they got them from their parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins and siblings, and it goes back generation upon generation. So you have to take responsibility for your current money story, but you may not have thought about it and you may not know some of those stories that are lurking in your subconscious mind that have been passed down from different family members over time. You've probably heard stories about family members who did well with money, family members who didn't do well with money. So think about that. What is the story in your family? Is everyone wealthy and the wealthy vibe keeps going? Or are there people who do well and people who don't do so well, and there are reasons and values taught on what not to do to keep you from having financial difficulties, like Great Uncle Joe did when he lost his business during the Depression? Or does your family have negative stories that have gone on for generations and generations and no one in your family can seem to get ahead and you're ready to break free and drop those stories? I would invite you to take a few steps here to change your money stories and heal some of those old vibrations. And the first thing that you want to do is to kind of take a day, or not a day, just an hour or so, sit down with a piece of paper and write down everything that you can remember about your family's money history that you've been told. Now remember, there may be things that you haven't been told or you've heard when you were a child and you don't remember them, but somehow they still get stored and tucked in your subconscious. And then there's also just what you watch and see as a child, how people behave around money and how people's money buttons get pushed. So I would just encourage you to think about that. I remember a story, and I may be totally wrong sometimes when I remember these stories, but I believe it was Stephen Covey, I want to say, he and his wife, when they first got married, and they used to, I think he talked about them sitting and picnicking, and I apologize if I'm getting this person totally wrong, but they would talk about just everything, and he remembered how she was sharing with him how when she was a child, they struggled financially, and the thing that kept them afloat was her father was a Maytag repairman, and they just always felt so grateful and thankful to the Maytag company because, they felt that that was where their abundance came from. That was what got them through. That's what that paid their bills. Well, it made him realize the reason why every time they bought a new appliance that his wife would insist that the Maytag was the most well-made and the best one and the best value for the money. And even if it cost more, that was what they were getting, when sometimes he would want to go with a cheaper equivalent. And she hadn't even put those two together until they shared and told that story. So it's good to be aware of why we have the beliefs that we do and where they come from. And, not all of them we're going to know, and that's fine. But you want to just kind of have that story of what has happened in the past with your relatives. And then I would think if there's someone in your family history who just did really well financially, and you can use them as kind of mentor, so to speak. I'm sitting here doing air quotes like you can see that, but a vibrational mentor of what kind of money vibration you want to develop. If you have someone who did really well and had their own business or made lots of money on the stock market or whatever, it's something that you can tap into and tune into. It's kind of fun when you have someone that has that family DNA history that you can use as a role model of sorts for setting up your own money vibration. And by money vibration, I just mean that how you think and feel about money causes your body and your soul to vibrate in a certain way that's going to affect how money comes to you in your life. And, if you believe that you're worthy of a good job and you'll be paid working for someone else, then you'll find that situation. But if you have the belief that all these company owners are out to get you, they want to pay you as least amount as you can and give you the worst work circumstances because that's what you've always believed and that's what you've been told, then chances are that's what you're going to encounter because you're going to manifest that into your life. And you may see somebody else over there getting, the great boss who treats them wonderful and gives them bonuses. And you can't understand why. And it may just be because you have that belief so far back in your subconscious mind. So what do you do to get rid of these beliefs that you don't want to believe? First of all, just kind of having that awareness that they're part of your family history and you've been told them forever and you were probably exposed to them in the womb is a great place to start. And then I would write down 4 or 5 that seem to be part of your family history. And then I would write the opposite of them. And so if I believed that, if it was a money belief that you have to work really hard to get even a little bit of money, I would write that down as a family belief. And then I would write down, it's easy to make money or it's easy to make lots of money. Whatever feels good to you and whatever feels kind of like the opposite of what you were taught. And then I would work on incorporating that belief into my life. So how do you incorporate a belief into your life? Well, a belief is a thought that you've thought over and over. So one way you can think it is just to say it as an affirmation, but you really want to get into that feeling of it. And so to help get into that feeling of it, I would look for evidence of it. I would first start to look for evidence of it in other people's lives. Because, if anybody can do it, then you can do it too. So look for other people who are making money, lots of money easily, or at least that it feels that way to you. Then I would write that down. I would keep an evidence log and maybe collect driftwood, which is when something that you're wanting to manifest, when you see other people get it, or when you get something sort of like it, or comes close to you, then I would write that down. And I will also look for more, to kind of keep a log of evidence in my life of when I made money easily. Say you put a bed on Craigslist and it sold in half an hour for exactly what you asked for it. Okay, write that on the evidence log and keep looking and keep writing down. Keep it maybe on a file on your phone and add to it is something that works for a lot of us, or on a piece of paper if you're more old school, and just, keep it in your wallet, keep it in your purse and add to it. Every time you see more evidence of that new belief, write it down. And, you can, like I said, you can also repeat it as a mantra, as an affirmation, either inside your head or out loud, or write it down. But it really helps to look for that evidence that it's true, because that helps your mind believe and accept it. Because a lot of these old stories, our mind believes them because they came from people that we trust and people that we respect. And obviously that they weren't trying to do us any harm by giving us beliefs that don't necessarily serve us now. So we can thank them for those beliefs too, and tell ourselves that we're ready to let them go. Thank you, mind, for believing that money was hard to make, because I know that you were just trying to protect me and keep me working hard so that I would make money. But now I'm choosing to believe that it's easy to make money. And I have all this evidence that I'm accumulating that it's easy to make money. So we're going to try this new plan for a while, and I promise everything's going to be okay. And sometimes you just have to talk to your subconscious like that. I know it seems really weird, but you can do that in a meditation time, or any time that you're just sitting down to work on spiritual growth principles, and see what happens. Shift it. And the fun thing is, when you start shifting your money beliefs, guess what? Your ancestors are going to have some great money beliefs. They're going to be like that, the Rockefeller family, the Vanderbilt family, these families who have all these great beliefs that serve them well. So you can start a new family history for them. All right. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.